Let's see who makes it in here first. First person in. Sir Bigglesworth, you just won a pack of seeds. Shoot me that, Sir Bigglesworth. Shoot me them details. You were the first one in. Mr. Bigglesworth just won himself a pack of exotic genetics. Mr. Bigglesworth. If I don't get your message, if I don't get a DM with your address, I'll hit you up. But yeah, that was quick, man. Bigglesworth scooped the exotic genetics. What is this? Runts buttons. Yeah, man, I couldn't. That was probably the quickest anybody's joined my live yet. So, hope everybody had a good 420. It's been super busy for me. But I can't complain. Good day. Busy. We sold a ton of mystery bags. We still have, I think, maybe 10 or 12. So if you haven't grabbed a 420 mystery bag, terpfiend.com. If you don't want to get a mystery bag and you just want to pick some strains out, for every order over $100 that's not a mystery bag gets a free shirt. This is the free shirt we're giving out. And you also get 30% off everything that's not, pretty much not mystery bags or sorbet. Yeah. So we're still doing tons of 420 stuff. And I think I'm going to have the wife, I think we're going to push the sale back through the weekend and just give it a couple more days for anybody that didn't get a paycheck or a tax return yet or whatever. But yeah, so Green Star Grower supposed to jump in and join me. We will see. He left me hanging last time. It doesn't look like he's jumped in yet. We'll give him just a minute. Anyway, yeah. So the funny thing is, we were kind of talking about 420 and how it's a little weird for people in the industry on one of the last podcasts I did. And, 420's always been one of those events or one of those days where, like, if you're in the industry, it's usually overwhelming because most places are either doing 420 sales or they're doing, Tiff, the winner was Mr. Bigglesworth. I'll look back and get it, but it was like Mr. Bigglesworth. But yeah, when you work in the industry, man, 420 is a weird day because usually everybody's doing sales or, you're prepping product to be ready for 420. Or for a lot of years, we did cannabis cups on 420 when they would do them in Denver or in Cali. And so 420 was always one of those days, like if you were in the weed industry, you almost never got to celebrate. You never really got, a whole lot of time to do anything. It was almost always one of those things where, like, you were usually working extra shifts or extra time to get everything caught up, And so it's kind of interesting to have, today was pretty chill for me. I did a couple podcasts. This will be the second one of the day. I did one earlier with Earl. Went really well. I would tell you this: if Drew stands me up twice, I'm not inviting him again. I love you, Drew, but Jesus. He said he'd be 9:03. It's 9:04. Anyway, but yeah, man, 420's always been one of those industry things that, like, if you're anywhere in the weed industry, you usually don't get a whole lot of chill time or a whole lot of time to really enjoy things. Like 90% of the time, it's you're hustling to get 420 sales. You're hustling to get 420. If you're working at a dispensary or something like that, a lot of times you're hustling to get product ready or whatever the case may be. And so, it's kind of nice to, it's kind of nice to have a day where I didn't necessarily have to do work. I think it was maybe it was Senior. Hold on one sec, Tiff, I'll look. I'm sorry. It was Sr. Bigglesworth. He got the free pack. But yeah, so it's kind of dope to get to have the day off. Didn't really do a whole lot today, but talk some weed with Earl earlier, and hopefully Drew's gonna jump in here in a minute, and we'll shoot the shit and talk some shit about his commercial grow, whatever he's got going on right now. Let's do this. I got one more pack of seeds sitting here. I don't really care for this breeder too much, but I'm not going to talk any shit. Skunk Quabbage. First person to message 420 in the chat, I'll give you this one. We'll see who grabs that. All you got to do is type 420 and hit enter. There you go. Dylan Hunt 215. Dylan Hunt 215 picked up some skunk quabbage. We no. The chat with Wee Woo is going to be, we already got our winner, guys. I appreciate it. The chat with Wee Woo is going to be Saturday. So tomorrow I am doing the Calyx Crew podcast at 8 o'clock. I think they do that I think he said they do it on Vimeo, but I'll have to get some details tomorrow and put up some details. I'm doing the Calyx Crew podcast tomorrow at 8, and then on Saturday I'll have Wee Woo from Scapegoat Genetics here. Yeah, I'm kind of stoked about that, man. I actually, the last couple of days, live on Vimeo is what the Calyx guys are saying. I'm kind of stoked because I've booked the next 3 to 5 weeks or something with different growers and breeders and you know, different folks that I'm really stoked to chat with and to chat to have a convo with. And so I know Simpson's in there. What is it, some 1574 or something like that. We got Wee Woo this weekend. Heart and Soil, I believe, one weekend. Yep, Heart and Soil. And so, man, and then I'm doing a ton of other podcasts. I've got one going on with another Weedman 420 podcast. Thank you so much. This artist, some of my favorite. I commissioned the picture of Hunter. It's a Canadian artist named Christine Bilodeau. I'm kind of assuming that's what her name is based on the pronunciation that I'm probably butchering. But I paid her to make this Hunter picture for me. And then I don't remember who did the Pluto, but he's got a Dumbo tab on his tongue. And then this one is a Stedman. Yeah. The funny thing is I have a ton of art, and I've been kind of rotating them in. What's the terps on the pineapple sorbet? I have 2 selections. So the F2 is still really all over the place. It wasn't until the F3 that I really started to see some stuff that I hadn't seen before. Most of the F1s and the F2s on the pineapple sorbet had a lot of pineapple candy, a lot of incense. It's a really complex profile. People say that all the time, but the pineapple sorbet and any of the crosses can be really tough to describe. Like, if you told me it smelled like tropical drinks on the beach, I wouldn't argue with you. It's got kind of like this almost coconut thing. It's got kind of like a rum punch thing. Like, it's really complex and unique. Now, in the F3s with the pineapple sorbet, I started to see some really different stuff that I hadn't seen before. I found, I think one of these 2 joints I got rolled here is the pineapple sorbet. I've been calling it the spicy Thai pheno because it's got this like pepper, but it reminds me of like old school, like almost landrace Thai. And there is some pineapple Thai in the pineapple sorbet. So, you know, it wasn't super uncommon to find it. But I just, up until the F3s, I hadn't really seen it before. Excuse me. And with the F3s, I started to find, a couple odd phenos I hadn't, I didn't know were there. But the F1s and the F2s, a lot of candy pineapple, a lot of, I like to say incense, but just because it's in that way that like, so I did the strain Nog Champa, which was a strain called Big Dirty crossed to pineapple sorbet. I named it Nog Champa not necessarily because it smells just like that particular incense, but more of because it's got like a complex floral incense type of thing going on. And it reminds me of incense just in how complex it is and how many different notes and things there are going on. But it's one of those that like it can be really tough to describe, and it can really be different plant to plant. Like it's one of those things that like, especially in the F1s and the F2s, because there's so much variation in any crosses that I've made with it in the F1s and F2s. It can be really tough to kind of classify it because one plant might be completely different from a plant right next to it and have enough terp difference that you would keep them both, just because they're kind of different directions. This pineapple tart that I'm smoking is a good example. It's a ice cream cake across the pineapple sorbet, and it's one of those that I've seen everything from kind of pineapple-y stuff to citrusy stuff. This one is like grape menthol Dimetap, which is really weird. Like it's I hadn't seen any other grape in really any of those, and it just had a ton of grape going on, but really this like heavy menthol kind of Dimetap situation. Somebody else just asked a few minutes ago about the Ice Cream Man Lucky Charms. Happy 420, Anton. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Somebody asked about the block. I think that was the block knocker. There's a really unique kind of. It's kind of odd to call it grape, but it is kind of this point where like grape meets warm vinyl. Does that make sense? If you've ever kind of smelled like a vinyl couch in the sun, or you've ever worked with like vinyl records, or you've ever worked with, there's kind of this like plasticine almost kind of smell, and that point where that meets kind of grape. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I would kind of describe it, with some kind of cereal, like spent bowl of fruity cereal, Lucky Charms. The Lucky Charms that I worked with kind of had like it kind of reminded me of my terp drip. It had a lot of like cushy notes, but then it had a lot of kind of a cereal, sweet, milky, kind of smells like Lucky Charms after a bowl or two, I cannot believe Drew is standing me up 2 weeks, 2 times. That's crazy. Anybody want to hop on and chat? Drew's bail it, I'll be. Anybody here growing weed for longer than 6-8 weeks? Want to chat? Hey, sure, if you want, man, shoot me an invite. I'll get you in. Even though I think we already got another one lined. Oh yeah, I grow. Ooh, excuse me. Somebody asked if I run a lot of my own creations.
Good, brother.
What's up, man?
What's happening?
Man, I cannot believe I've gotten stood up twice by the same person. Trick me once.
Terrible.
Trick me once. Yeah, man, it's just the way it goes, dog. Everybody's busy, so like, I try to do these on regular time schedules. Like I do one on Wednesday and one on Saturday, and yeah, man, getting people to commit and do them sometimes is a trip.
Cool.
Oh, and of course, now we joined in. He just joined the chat.
No worries. I was headed out to the lab. I was about to press roll or something, so.
I'm gonna jump him in anyway. You can hang out for a minute. Yeah, did I hear you got some rosin or something, or some? I saw jumped on one of you guys.
Yeah.
Live the other day. What is up, man?
Happy holidays.
Happy 420, dog.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. You?
Not bad at all. Good. Just got done coaching.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks hella sunny
It is beautiful out here right now.
in the desert.
Huh?
In the desert.
Yeah. In the desert. Dude, growing in a greenhouse in the desert is one of the craziest things I've ever done, man.
Yeah, dude.
Nuts.
That's crazy, bro.
It is. It's not even getting hot yet, but in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, dude. In the summertime, it's the polar opposite of Denver.
Yeah.
In the sense that like Denver is just like cold as shit, and your ACs don't want to work because it's cold as shit, and
Right.
it's like it's 115, and you almost can't have enough HVAC to cool shit down.
Exactly. And it's the same way here in the summer because it's dry as shit, but it's super hot. It's like 120 degrees. So we're gonna run into that here pretty soon. I'm not ready.
Yeah, if I need to let you go, it's no big deal. Homie jumped on just because I needed somebody to chat with. We were about to. Oh, damn! All right, got the fish scale and shit. That's what I'm talking about.
Damn, that's
So that is your Honeydripper.
nice.
Nice. Heck yeah.
3 plants of the Honeydrip, and I threw in a plant of my runs. I just mixed in with it.
Yeah, I'll
nice.
take that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I just saw some tests. Were you the one? You weren't the one that sent me the test results from it, were you?
For Momo?
Oh no, you
Maybe
said Honeydripper, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I told you that it don't.
One of
I sent you a message and said
either the moonstoned or that. Somebody recently sent me like tests of, and it tested you know high 20s, but like had a ton of myrcene and limonene, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, it kind of, to me, I don't know if it's just the ones I have or whatever, but the hash rosin kind of tastes like artificial banana, kind of like the candy runt bananas. The flower itself kind of leans more towards your Nag Champion. Like that, like stands out over everything, you know?
Yeah. The thing that I like about the Nag Champa, so many people have told me that have washed that, have told me that it really the flavor really carries over well towards the end of, you know, towards finished rosin, where so many strains you either lose terps to the water or you lose terps to the press, you know, but like that, a lot of people that have washed or handled Nag Champa or the Nag Champa crosses have all kind of told me the same thing, that like the ones that wash really well, and the flavor really carries over well towards the finished product.
Nice. That's good to know.
So what's the situation you got going on, Drew? Is that another consult?
No,
Let me turn this on.
position.
What's that? I'm sorry.
They offered me a full-time position, so I'm like cultivation manager there. Yeah, it's been pretty chill so far. It's got, you know, the usual kind of cannabis industry drama bullshit, but it's nothing crazy. One of the more low-key spots that I've had the pleasure of working at, actually. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm really just using it as some experience, some greenhouse experience, because that's really the only thing my resume is lacking, you know?
Yeah. I haven't, to be honest, in the commercial world, I haven't done a ton of greenhouses. Like I've done, you know, little play things myself, but like, you know, as far as running 200,000 square foot of greenhouse space, that's one of the few that's not on my resume. God damn,
bro.
What is that? Sure, is that the like 70-73 or like 70-90?
What?
There is none of that, man. Don't let people lie to you. That's full spec right there. That's everything. 25, the 190, everything.
Damn.
When you got a low enough amount of 25 that you can just leave it in, that's awesome. Because like the downside to 25 generally is that you've got so much wax to oil, which is with the big trichomes, your goal is the opposite: as much oil and as little wax as possible, or enough membrane to wash. But like with that stuff, when you can just leave the 25 in there, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Usually the 25 is usually pretty clean for me. The 190 and the 160 usually gets a little bit of plant material in it. So, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, right.
I don't even bother putting the 90 or the 73 in the mix. I use just a 45 U and the 120, 160, and 220.
Oh, so you just drop it all in one bag. Yeah, it's easier that way. If you get it full spec and press it all, just drop it on one bag. Why pull 4 more bags to just have to separate and dry it to combine it all together again? Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Just drop it in a small mic bag and just catch it all.
Yep.
Hey Drew, what's the situation in Vegas? Like, is there like heady boy dispensaries, like legitimately dank weed, or is it all just be commercial?
There is some legitimate dank. It's very few and far between though. There's a spot called Green Life Production that does they designed an indoor cultivation for no-till, and they have like 3 flower rooms that they built like custom no-till beds that like roll like the rolling tables do or whatever. And they're on like their 30-second cycle without it tilling anything. They veg in 1-gallon plastic pots with the bottoms cut out of them, and then they'll just take that plant and like throw it into the hole that they harvested out of the bed in the flower room, let that shit run its course, harvest it, pull out the root ball, and put another fucking plant in there.
Bro, your IPM better be on point.
I know.
Your IPM better be on. I'm talking about you better not have a bug. You better not have a mildew spore.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you do, all of that soil's got to go, bro. Like, you get one decent pest problem, man, I can't imagine in a commercial grow like that having to deal with like a table bed worth of soil.
I've only seen videos and shit. I haven't had a chance to go over there yet, but I've been talking to the dude, and I really want to go over there and see it. But yeah, that shit scares the hell out of me, man.
They actually add a lot of bugs to make sure that doesn't happen.
Sure.
Yeah. You just have to have everything in balance. But like I said before, like the true problem in a commercial size grow is just the sheer number of people coming in and out, and the sheer number of vector points of where, and everybody in the weed business grows their own weed. So everybody's going home. Not everybody's got a clean grow. Of all the grows I've been in, I'd eat off of 2 of them, 3 of them, and it's like, the truth is, so many of these people are just bringing shit in and bringing shit out. And if you don't have proper IPM, proper scrub down, like proper getting people in and out of the building, just clean shoes, clean clothes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like, that's such a risky proposition. But when it's done and it's done right on a commercial level, man, that's art.
Yeah.
That's art.
Yeah.
That's the definition of art, A
small facility. I'm pretty sure they only have like 3 flower rooms, and they're like,
see,
I want to say like 8.
That's the other thing where it's kind of easy because you can do, let's be honest, man, you or I could do 4 or 5 flower rooms by myself.
Right.
So it's like the fewer people you've got coming in your room, the fewer, vectors you're going to have. So it's like there is certainly a scale to it too.
Yeah.
Because once you get to the point where you got whole trim crews coming in your grow,
right.
You've got, there's just so many people.
Hell yeah, dude.
And that was always the problem. That was always the problem in all the grows that I've ever seen is like, you either pay for the harvesting crew to, your own crew that you can control.
Right.
Or you pretty much pay to beat the shit out of your weed with trimmers and, you know, whatever situation with, you know, whatever electric mechanical situation you can have.
Yep.
So it's like, if you're bringing people into your building, that's a whole nother group of people that you've got to, you know, everybody's got to scrub, everybody's got to be clean, everybody's got to have different shoes, because those are the people that are coming and going and you're not thinking about, because they're not regular employees, you know?
Right. Yep. They're the ones
But yeah,
that are
I mean,
got the mites from the grow they were working in the day before.
yeah, right. You're right. Or, you know, it's like I said, dude, I don't know how many people in the weed business that either went to other grows in the weed business, worked at other places, you know, more than one job, because we know nobody's really showering money on the weed industry.
Right.
And so it was either, you know, shit like that, or people who everybody was running their own grow. And it's so you'd go right home into your own grow. And, you know, here's the problem, man. Until you've seen 100 mite infestations, you're probably not going to know what mites look like at the early stages.
Yep.
So, like, you got so many people that really don't know what their problems are, and then they just notice a web at the end, and they're like, oh, I just had a little mite problem. It wasn't no big deal.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you saw the end of an infestation. It gets worse if they attack earlier, but what you still saw was tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of bugs. It wasn't just one bug that threw one web.
Yep.
Like, that's not how that works. You know? It's like by the time you've seen a web, you've already got a big problem.
It's already almost over. Yep.
Yeah. Right. You're in the end stages.
Yep. Those things are so hard to get rid of, too. We had
it's just one of those, like, especially in a commercial grow, because it's so much harder in a big grow to nuke everything, to zap everything, to clean everything. And, you know, it's just once you got a problem, then it's just mitigation, you know. If you just got a little tank grow, then you probably don't even know what we're talking about, hopefully. Like, hopefully you've never had a problem with a mite. You never ran into an aphid. You never met a, you know, a thrip. Like, hopefully you never have to deal with any of that. But, like, when you have a grow that's over 20,000 square feet, you know, 15, 20,000 square feet, and you get even a small problem, there's no small problems. You know, like, every problem is a huge headache, because either A, you've now got to completely nuke that space. B, it's probably everywhere else too.
Yeah.
And it's like, by the time you've seen it and identified it and realized it's a problem, like you said, it's usually too late.
Yeah,
I mean, in the sense that you're never going to go back to not having that problem.
pretty much.
You know, you might neutralize it to a point.
Yeah.
You might mitigate your losses. You might cut a little bit out here and there, and might not be as bad as you think. But, like, bro, I've seen people battle problems over and over and over and over.
Years.
So this is just a little one. I got a bigger bag. So the first one.
That's the
I'll do the first.
Honeydripper?
This is the Honeydripper.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Man, that's awesome. I always love hearing people running my gear, and it always trips me out in the sense that, like, when I see people, like, actually pressing it and making great hash, like, that's why I do this. That's why I love what I do. It's because, like, I'm trying to make strains that make great hash, because great strains that make great hash always smoke great.
Yeah,
I've never seen it, you know, it doesn't go the other way. Just because it smokes good doesn't mean it's going to wash.
Right.
But if you focus on strains that wash, I've never seen somebody take a really dank hash plant and be like, that flower is garbage.
Yeah, for sure. You're right.
Yeah. But I mean, like Lemon G is a great example of a strain that can be ugly as all shit, but the resin is just so special, not in a wash context, but like some of the Lemon G BHO from like 2016, 2017 was just, dude, it was just the dankest shit I ever had. And it was so weird because everybody calls it lemon. It's not really lemon. It reminds me more of like Christmas tree wreaths with like some maybe lemon peel squeezed in, you know, like orange rind. Had a real like bitter kind of smell to it. And that cut was super popular in Colorado. And then I ran a couple rooms of it, and even blown out, beautiful, perfect, healthy. Trim it up, it looked like outdoor.
Right.
It looked like just mediocre outdoor. The buds never filled in. It was very old school.
One of the ugliest plants I've ever grown for sure, but the terps on that motherfucker are insane.
It's so unique. Even, you know, it's there's other strains that like people try to compare it to, but it's really one of those that's like in a league of its own in depth and complexity and just how, you know, how everything worked. It's such a unique one because it does have a little citrus if you know, extract it. But when you smoke the flower, man, it doesn't citrus at all. It's kind of this weird, almost like sage, like the smell of sage, you know, like fresh sage.
This kid that worked for me in Massachusetts told me that he thinks it smells like turkey gravy.
All right, here it comes.
He told me that it was lemons and turkey gravy. And like the more I kept smelling it, I was like, damn, he's almost kind of right.
Yeah, it's got some weird savory stuff going on for sure. Yeah, damn, that's sexy. Hey, happy 420. This turned into a porno.
Beautiful, right? Squirting everywhere.
Yeah, that's the color on that. The color on that is gorgeous. How long did it run?
Damn.
60 days.
60 days?
60 days.
Yeah.
I actually harvested a little early. I usually like 65, but I have an event coming up and I wanted to have some fire, so.
That's awesome.
I need a cut of that.
Yeah. No, I got mad seeds. Doc, don't ever say you need any genetics. You can hit me up any day of the week and I'll send you out seeds that day. You know, like anything you ever want to work with, anything you can get in a dispensary. I don't care if you just get it in and then leave it. Like I don't care. Like it's just, right. You know,
that's
I don't care. And you know, especially with something like that, let me know and I'll send you a handful of packs of different stuff, you know, so you can run 2 or 3 packs of, you know, whatever. Right. And yeah, you can tell me what you want to run, dog. I mean, I've always tried to keep something for everybody. So, like, if you got a spot and you're like, these folks need, you know, gassy shit, let me know. I got you. If you need fruity stuff, I got you. You know, you just tell me what you need. Kush, I got you. All you know, I'm always trying to keep something for everybody, man.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've only been at this place for like 6 weeks now. I'm still not sure whether I want to give them any genetics or not, but I don't know. If you got stuff that you don't care about,
it's not that I don't care. It's like, bro, people don't realize like that's just great in a sense that like there's so many dispensaries where homies worked in dispensaries, brought shit on of mine, and then they're you know, it's like the industry, they're not there 8 months later, and those strains are still getting run and they're still out there and people are still talking about it. So 8 ways from Sunday, it benefits me to have my, you know, any of my stuff in a dispensary. And it's one of those that I'm not going to send you anything. It's like the last pack I got.
Right.
You know, so it's just stuff that like you can take, and if you just need something dank to run at a new spot and show off with, I'll send you some stuff to run. And I don't care if it, you know, if it just they run it and run it and run it and run warehouses of it. Makes me look good.
Yeah, I'll definitely try anything you want to send. We got some decent stuff right now, but they did some weird shit because of Metric. When they brought all these new genetics in, they fucking named them all of the strains that they already had in the garden because that's like the only way they can get them into Metric. And then they would like change the names, and they ended up fucking everything up and like messing up the labels, and now everything's fucking labeled the wrong shit.
There's easier ways to do that. Unless they've made some major changes, like the last time I was like had a Metric account, there was a way to do it. But what you would essentially do is say, I had a male plant and I had a female plant, and they made seeds, and now I've got a new strain, and that strain can be named any damn thing I want to name it.
Yep. I've done it that way, and
You
I've
burn,
done it the
you
way
burn
that
a couple of tags in the process, you know, because you're essentially just saying, like, I had a plant, it didn't yield anything, it was a male, I had to burn a tag, and, you know, but at the end of the day, you're able to get stuff onto,
yeah.
and then
Oh yeah.
once you have something that you can say was seed stock, then you can make as many new strains from that within metric as you want,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's definitely doable, and I've done it the way that they did it here. That's not well, in Colorado, like at Mayflower, that's what we would do. We'd go buy I go buy like a tray of clones from Seed and Smith or whatever, and then I would pop my own fucking tray of 10 strains and then throw away the fucking clones and just
Yeah.
retag everything with
Yeah. Yep.
with those tags.
Yeah, because there was a time where you could literally, like, they didn't, up until 17, 18, they didn't query you as to where it originated from.
Right.
You had to have an originating tag, and you essentially, like you said, you had to have, you know, you had to show, like, this was a plant that was already in metric,
Right.
but there was no, this has to be the actual plant. Anybody knows what this plant is, you know. You
Right.
could just enter a new name of a strain, tell it what the tag number was, this is the new strain, and it would add to your metric, and it never said, like,
Yep.
did this come from somewhere in the system? You know, I don't know if they changed that, but for the longest time, that wasn't the case.
No, I'm pretty sure it's still the same.
Which, once again, like, that's not dishonest. It's a flaw in the system.
Yeah.
You should be able to bring in seed stock that's not created within the system.
Exactly.
Because seeds are technically legal everywhere now.
Yep. You should
So
be
it's
able
like the
to
notion that it,
in really.
yeah, the notion that it has to be all seed to sale is ridiculous.
As long as it's not fucking bulk flour, you should be able to bring in clones from anywhere. You should be able to bring in seeds from everywhere. You should be able to bring in veg plants from anywhere, honestly.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's just another one of those parts of like the early legalization. Man, that hash looks amazing.
It's short.
You really turn this into you just turn this into a absolutely X-rated video that's going to get flagged NC-17 on. I don't care. This is just a 420 set. But dog, you're absolutely killing that. That looks absolutely. I would dab one of those whole drips in just one dab, no problem.
Yeah,
one of
Like that, you got
those
to
whole
quality
drips is
control
probably
that.
like 5 grams.
You got to quality listen. You got to quality control. There needs to be quality
for
control.
sure.
It needs to be of the utmost tolerance. So you need to make sure. I'm just fucking with you. That's absolutely dank as fuck, man. It's the color on it's beautiful.
If you need me to sample anything for you, just send it this way. That shit is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's dank. And I can only imagine because all of those like moonstoned, terp dripper, Honeydripper, like they're all like really myrcene heavy. So it's like, bro, that shit just devastates your head. Like that's that stuff that like makes the rookies in the room go straight home.
I love it.
They do one dab of that, and it's like, no, that's it. That's all I can handle. Because it's just, dude, it bangs your head so hard with all that myrcene. That stuff, I don't, you know, once again, I saw a test on, I think, the mom of this strain just recently. It was really high in myrcene and limonene, which is just, man, that's one of my favorite combos ever.
Absolutely.
You know, devastating. It's just
throw a little terpene in there, and I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Damn, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that first one was probably only like fucking, I'm sorry, like maybe 8 grams of hash or something. That was insane. Like fresh frozen, whole plant, you just can't beat it.
Bro, we used to go to these sessions. I don't know. I don't think I ever took you. We had this homie that lived in Fort Collins. He probably still lives in Fort Collins. I just haven't spoken to him in years. And back around like 2016, we would go to this dude's house and we would sesh. And it would be, you know, all of the Denver hash cats, everybody that was, you know, Denver smoking hash scene for a while. And this dude had $500,000 in glass or more. Like all of his cabinets were like, you know, high end rigs. Like
Right.
all of his kitchen cabinets were just full of rigs. And he would let us all come over and just like sesh like mad and just
Smoke out of
use
whatever you
anything in
want.
the house. And he had this like, it was a Toro, um, Eric Anders, I think maybe collab hookah.
Damn.
And we would put the D nail on it, and everybody would just kind of contribute to a pile. So we would all kind of throw some hash into a pile, and we would put grams. And it was just kind of like when you think you're gonna vomit, hand it to the next person and get out of the way,
Right.
because it would just burn for 30 minutes, 20 minutes of just straight like
Wow.
sucking straight smoke until you had to just give up. You know, and like these are, once again, when I say like seasoned hash smokers, this was like everybody I knew in the hash game that was, you know, really heavily smoking at the time around, you know, a certain scene. And it was, and everybody would finally hit a point where they're just like, I'm no more. Like,
Weren't you guys doing like legit sessions? Where didn't you guys were doing like
yeah,
parties like that, just like a meetup, and then you turned it into like legit sessions
yeah,
from
yeah.
that?
Yeah, so we were doing, this was kind of a separate thing, but yeah, we did a lot of that in 2016. Like, to be honest with you, man, I had a background in music before I got involved in the weed business.
That's
I
right.
put on, you know, smaller events and kind of had a thing of like just putting together things and putting, you know, making it all happen. And I ran into a couple other people and we did, you know, sessions where we would either do here's the thing. The laws changed in Denver really hard at a certain point. And so it went from where you could kind of have these events and people could smoke and we could at the very least, like, you know, pay for our ends and being there and have small vending and stuff like that, to like, no, that's illegal. That's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of when all those events in Denver really changed a lot, was just in the sense that like, it's just a bud tender night, and it's great for big brands. But if you can't have like vending of some sort, then like inviting like small kind of what were essentially gray black market, you know, we were party promoters. That was what we were doing. You know, we would get Airbnbs before it was super cool to rent those out and just trap them out, and we would literally rent long tables and just fill the whole house with long tables. And we did one like over in the Highlands in Denver that, man, it had to have been 150 people. And it was just kind of a rotating, like take a chair, have a seat for a while. And then when you can't, you know, and it was the cool thing about those, you would never see so much money in glass in your life. Because everybody would bring, it was a big dick waving contest. Everybody would bring like, you know, their trap trophies and put all their trap trophies out on the table. And you're just like literally trying your hardest not to move wrong. Right. Because there's $90,000 in front of you in glass. And you're just like, listen, man, I'm kind of clumsy. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm like, putting my hands to myself and I'm like, I'm good, you know.
Hell yeah.
But nah, here's what's funny, man. I saw a few people at the Fort Collins guy's house where we would all go smoke. I felt bad every time it happened, but there were people that would break rigs. Like it happened. Especially when you're like kind of like, you know, you can hit anything here and we're all just getting high. Like somebody's gonna drunk girl it and bump something. And luckily we never saw anything shatter, but I saw a few, you know, $8,000-$10,000 pieces with pieces just break right off of them. And homie never missed a beat. He was always kind of.
Wow. Must be nice.
And it's funny because like he was such a nice guy, and he would put these sessions on, and you know it was really a who's who of Denver hash at one point. It was such a fun, you know, thing while it was fun. But the funny thing was the hookah sessions, because like I'm generally not a hookah guy in general.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't really, you know, I find that it makes stale smoke, especially when you're like smoking flower. But yeah, when we would do these like 5 gram, 4 gram dabs essentially, and it was just like smoke until you tap, you know. That was the funniest thing. It's so gross. Yeah, hookahs are one of those funny things that, like, I guess they work for tobacco because tobacco already kind of tastes like shit. Like smoking tobacco, like through a hookah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a reason you got to put like flavor in it. Like it's not the greatest tasting
I think
thing. But I guess with with weed, as soon as weed you get a stale hit, it just goes from tasting like weed to tasting like ass in your mouth now. And you just like literally can't cough it up hard enough to get it out of your lungs. It just sucks.
Shit like collapses your lungs and burns your throat.
Hey,
Tries to murder
Drew,
you.
you lost your audio.
Really?
Oh, never mind. My phone got turned
He
down.
sounds good to me. It was you.
Yeah.
It was you, Turpin.
Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell happened there. Oh, my mom called. That's what it was. It must have done some of my audio. Anyway, but yeah, man, and that's the kind of when I got out of like ripping bongs too, because that was the problem with like just ripping bongs of flour. God damn.
One of those fucking stale
Hey,
yellow
Short, do you do anything with it now, or you smoke it at this point? Do you do any like post processing?
I can do everything. I can do rosin cards. I can do diamonds. I can do just THCA.
But I mean,
if you want.
You'll just smoke it at this point. You're not like cold curing it or mixing it.
I can cure it. I cure it, but it depends. Like some people like fresh, some people like cured. So I do a little bit. I particularly like it cured better myself.
Really?
I like when that funk comes out. I like when all those flavors get blended and all those compounds, the terpenes and stuff, blend everything together and you get that real pop of flavor. That's what I want.
Dude, I gotta be honest. Like, I think I'm more of the most terps it's gonna have is the minute it comes off the press, and from that minute on, you're losing terps. Even if you slow it down, that first press, as much as I hate to say it, has always been my favorite.
But that can be overwhelming too. Like when there's a lot of terps, that like sometimes can be just so much that it's just like
we're speaking different languages at this point. Too much terps are complete. That entire phrase is absolutely foreign to me. Now listen, we did at one point in 2016. When I was doing party promotion and stuff. We had partnered with a company that essentially we were doing cross promotion, call it, for a CO2 company. And what they would do is they were actually purifying terps per strain, and then to an absolute clear point. Like it was absolutely clear, just pure plant essence. And it was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. Even today, I don't see companies selling it because, to be honest with you, it's one of those things that's not super economical. You have to start with really great product, and then it's just like everything else. It has to be absolutely handled perfect through the process, and it was just one of those things that, like, it was a neat thing to see, but it wasn't something I ever felt like they were going to do long term in a commercial nature and make money doing it.
See, terpy can barely touch it.
Well, look, man, let's wrap this up. We're getting close to our hour. Yeah, I got 10 more minutes. Thank you, Drew, for giving me 5. Sure, thank you so much. I'm sure we still have a couple 420 mystery bags. www.terpfiend.com. To be honest, man, it was a great 420. I appreciate you guys stopping in. We'll get up. Sure, you and I are going to do an hour soon. If we don't already have it down, we'll figure it out.
We do.
Okay, cool. I've booked like 5 in the last week, so I thought we did. I just wasn't 100% sure. But thank you guys so much. To the maestro here, I pretty much made my video a porno.
all of these
So it was
big drip shots.
beautiful.
And, Shore really came through on it. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Terpfiend.com. Go get some genetics. And I love you guys. Appreciate it.